Motorsport Series round 14 for the F3 category. I'm Brett Keenan, joined in commentary by my partner in crime, Mark Bratby, and we've just had a very, well, I wouldn't call it controversial, but very interesting previous Grand Prix for the F4 category. Tyler Beasley taking the non-official race win from his non-official teammate Rudy, who they actually end up being teammates for today in the F3. Our effective race winner, Albert Ramirez Garcia, who's going to be spectating the race. And then, of course, we've got 3 other drivers that are going to be taking part as invitationals, and that's James Tamayo, Ethan Lossings, and Nicholas Adams, all F4 drivers that have allowed themselves to take part in this. So I don't think these guys are going to be too much into the fray, which should hopefully keep the battle in the F3 clean and legit. Of course, we've got a championship battle still on the line here between Matthew Elliott and Yevgeny Delacruz. Mark, who do you think is going to be taking first honours here this weekend? And do you think Ferrari can go back-to-back 1-2 finish today?
Yeah, don't know, Brett. I'd be surprised if a safety car doesn't pop its head up. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see for qualifying and see what everyone can do.
Now, interestingly, yeah, it is saying 19, so 3 spectators, 16 drivers. That sounds about right. So we're getting pretty much ready to go here. We're just waiting for
everyone to ready up.
Yeah, pretty much. And once that happens, we'll get underway. The timer's now counting down. We've also got some big news that I don't know how it's going to be portrayed, but the Trans Nation Committee is debuting its Trans Nation Supercars League in about 4 hours time. The first race of the championship will be underway, and it's pretty much a vast contrast of everyone in the community already in the F1 side of things, with like myself, Mackenzie, Mark, and all that. So the first race is later this afternoon. How we're gonna broadcast that, I'm not 100% sure. Might request an aid from someone to give us a hand there, but we'll see how that plays off in due course. But anyway, that's later. We've got F1 today.
F3 today, mate.
What did I just say? F1.
F1.
Well, it is F1. It's still the sport, but we've got the F3. Yeah. So we've got
F3 category.
13 regular drivers, 3 invitationals, and an interesting portrait. What's the weather going to be like? It's going to be clear, sunny conditions like we saw for F4.
Yeah, at the moment.
And so, although it was slightly overcast from the F4 was perfectly clear sky conditions, so threats of rain could be a possibility. We'll find out, hopefully, if one of the drivers can take the time into the stream to let us know how the weather's going to play out. So I heard from Mackenzie's perspective of what he defines the Monza Grand Prix circuit. Let's hear it from you, Mark. How do you define Monza?
Yeah, quick. It's a bit like an IndyCar, NASCAR sort of race. It's a slipstream fest. As we see our first car come out. Yeah, you need to be quick in a straight line, and you need to be able to pull the car up for these 2 chicanes. Which is hard when you got that slipstream, that extra speed. You don't quite realise you need that extra braking point all the time. And so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how everyone goes in stopping their cars. So
just trying to piece together some information.
Of course, so
Yeah, I'm just trying to piece some information together. I'm just trying to remember a few things, but so Jaden Felter is the first driver out, and he'll be the first driver to set out a following lap. So just looking at the drivers that have come into the race, so Ethan Lossing's Chargers 1000 is in the Toro Rosso Honda. James Tamayo.
We've just been told, Brett, that it's drivers both following in the race. So.
Okay, so that's good. So Ethan Lossing's in the Toro Rosso Honda, Nicholas Adams in the Alfa Romeo Sauber, and James Tamayo in the Mercedes. So it pretty much considers every car is pretty much now vacant on the grid, so that's good to see. So at least one of each car is here for this weekend for this race, so good to see. We're only 4 cars short anyway, so we're missing a Merc, a Force India, a Haas, and a Williams. And that's the part that's scratching my head. I'm trying to remember who Robin Kreft's teammate actually is.
That would be Omar.
Oh, of course, and Omar hasn't made it today, so
Still got yellow flags, but
it's just people slowing down to find space. So going through Ascari is Jaden Felter, the Dutch. Oh, can he hold it together? No, he's on the fence, and he's still in, but he's got a lot of damage. So I don't think and he's going to he'll want to let this guy through, which is, so that's Nicholas Adams. So Nicholas Adams will be our first
driver across the line.
Now, funnily enough, Nicholas was actually in F3, but had a few issues, and we initially moved him to F4 to make it up for it, but now he's kind of come back for a go at F3, and he goes to the top with a 23-1, immediately beaten by James. So James Tamayo.
21 flat.
And then Tyler Beasley, our race winner from F4, with a 22-2 on the mediums. Now, he tried to do the medium run in the F4, but got caught in an incident that actually took him out of qualifying. So he's actually managed to do it this time, as Ethan Lossings goes to the top into P2 with a 21-3. So 2 of the 3 invitationals to the top of the timesheets, with Ryan Connolly now up to P3 in the Ferrari.
Yep.
Definitely more time to find.
Sterling's just coming up to the final corner. Is that Parabolica?
Thoughts on the new Haas livery? Guy Tasker, hashtag Ask Britty. I don't like it, personally. I do not like the Haas livery. It looks very reminiscent to the older day Lotuses, and I never liked those liveries either. So they probably needed more white, more dark, and like more white, more red, maybe even. It just needed more to go for it. It's just a pure black livery, and I'm hoping it's just like a teaser livery to show for pre-season, then they go into the real deal. So our championship points leader Matthew Elliott is P7 on the mediums with a 133.9, so it must have been a very tardy lap from our championship points leader. No evidence yet of what his championship competitor Yevgeny is doing. He's currently in the pits on the super softs.
Well, according to Discord, he's going to start from the back of the grid, but yeah, whether or not that's going to be actual, if that's what he's actually going to do or not, I don't know, but that's what he's told Matt on Discord. So,
well, that must be a bit. I mean, to Yevgeny, it would be an act of respect for his championship competitor. But if I was Matt, I'd be very disgusted by it, because that's.
Yeah, it's kind of taking the piss of it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an act of arrogance, and it would be an act of arrogance in Matt's eyes. He'd rather be able to fight.
Flat.
So Luca will be looking to try and make some good grounds with this being his actual home Grand Prix, the Italian, making a bit of a meal of turn 1, which has actually compromised his turn 2, and he's now gone full pirouette into and he's actually he almost positioned himself to be able to take the escape chicane, and he's rejoined in a very odd. Ooh, I don't know if he really should have stopped there, but it looks like he's managed to avoid catastrophe by doing it. One of the Renaults, which was actually Yevgeny, oddly enough. So I wonder if Yev is actually listening in on us and has kind of heard what we said and decided, well, maybe I should. My act of chivalry could be deemed as an act of arrogance, and maybe I should just race. Because I think for Matt, I mean, I don't want to speak for Matt when saying it, but if I was in Matt's position, if I want to win a championship, I want to win with my competitors giving it everything they've got.
Everything they've got, yeah, that's right.
Although
we've got Jaden just coming up to the end of sector 2 here.
Just listening to the just on the onboard of Yev's car, it sounds really crook. Although he is holding it in third gear, I don't know if that's... Oh no, it's just the sound glitch, but... The actual engine note itself was really crook sounding. Rudy is up to P2 with a 21.8 of 21 flat. He actually... No way, is that... Oh no, I thought James Tomeo and Rudy had set the same exact time. But it's 2/100th of a difference.
2/100th of a second. So Jaden goes up to P6 with a 21.7.
And Matt's improved to a 24.1, but we've just caught glimpses of him off the circuit at turn 2 in a very odd location. That almost suggests to me that he's had a helping hand in that. I don't think he would have gone off there on his own accord. Now, the strategies are really different when you look at it, but I still wouldn't really...
Oh, we've got offs. Diogo
and that's Yevgeny, is it? It is too. Yevgeny and Yevgeny and Dogo have come into contact with one another. Oh! And that's a huge... Who was that?
Oh, I've missed that. Whoever it was, they haven't been taken out.
It's the two championship contenders. They've come together.
Oh, no.
And Yevgeny's been put out of qualifying as a result. So, Yev, who said he'd start from the back as an act of chivalry, is gonna start at the back anyway.
Start from the back.
And Matthew Elliott will be counting his lucky stars that he's managed to come out of that in one piece. But this is really asking a question of what is going on with this ghosting system, because that's the second time we've seen a car crash into another one that's parked on the road as a thought to the ghosting system. So that's very... But who would have thought that the two championship combatants coming together like that? Now, I think Yev has a case to answer for in that regard, because he did...
Rudy's gone around as well. Rudy's reversing. He's at... Oh, Rudy and... Who's he?
Is that Nicholas Adams? So it must have been another... Now, yeah, so that's the second time that a Force India... Oh, sorry, that's the second time that Alfa Romeo Sauber has been caught in an incident, as Ethan Lossing goes to the top and a McLaren has now just gone off the circuit. I think that's Rudy. No, that's actually Tyler Beasley.
Tyler, yeah. He's
and
out of fuel.
Sterling to the top with a 21. Yeah. It's all going on here in qualifying. It makes me wonder what the race is going to be like. So we've also lost Ashley Lawrence through all this, and I never actually caught wind of how he managed to do that. But he hasn't done a lap on a tyre. So
I think he just retired in pit box.
So here
I
comes...
think he was only making the race. He couldn't make qualifying. I think I could be wrong. There was someone that wasn't going to make qualifying. They were going to make the race though. So.
So now the conversation of the Haas livery is starting to begin in the conversation chat. So
Leonardo comes up to the end of his flyer.
He's already been on a lap, so he's invalidated his previous one. So We'll see what he does on the next one. No, he's
He's
aborting.
validated this one. Yeah, he's aborting this one.
So,
So he might just be running.
best of the Ferraris is the number 15 Ferrari of Ryan Connolly in P7, while the number 15 car of Leonardo Martins is in P13.
13.
No, obviously you didn't get the joke, so I won't go on with that.
No.
So, Matt,
yeah.
so they're both running the number 15.
Yeah.
Now, Matt has taken initiative and decided he's going to try and go on the super softs to try and make up some ground. Now that Yev's out of qualifying itself, he's going to actually try and make some ground.
Klaus pulls out of his hot lap as well. So he's laboring a bit late. Got 5 minutes 30 to go. Push the car in, put new tyres on it, then come out. So we should. Diogo betters his time and does a 1:21.5 to move him up to P10.
So there is a bit going on, but in the chat, but Yevgeny isn't holding any grudges to the incident, and of course Matt is just justifying the shit system of the ghosting for this game. And unfortunately it's fair to say that actually I haven't been on one of these tangents for a while. It must be a record for me. It just justifies that Codemasters still need to work on these games, and they elect not to. They always tend to do a few updates that might fix the odd occasional career mode glitch or the odd thing that might help a noob get to grips with the game. But then when it comes to the nitty gritty stuff like what we're having to deal with now, they say, sorry, we're not doing it, we've got to think about the next game, which is ridiculous. So I actually think from here on out they need to start focusing on making DLCs for every game from here on out, because it makes more sense to just focus on fixing one game than trying to make another one that's going to end up just as buggy, if not buggier, than the next. So they just have to start listening to the public, and that's something that we of the Trans Nation have been doing from conversational points in our Discord chat. So you know, we're listening to the people more now than we are to the committee. So it's something that Codemasters could probably take an example from, if more than anything, but I won't go too much more into that because we've got a qualifying.
Here we go. Rudy's going to be the first one to start a flyer on this new tyres. He's just crossed the line to start that flyer lap.
So what we'll do is do a virtual onboard lap here. So heading into turn 1 and turn 2, you've got to be so accurate into 1, because otherwise turn 2 becomes a nightmare. So now heading through the Castello Grazzi, through here, flat, absolutely flat through here, don't need a lift at all. Now this is one of the trickiest corners I find on the track, because you've got to be able to smack the curbs, and it already looks like he must have been validated just by doing that.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. You've got to be able to attack, but then you can't attack and without getting you can't attack it because you run the risk of getting an online penalty. So anyway, we'll switch over to Nicholas Adams and continue the virtual lap. So going into Ascari now, you want to get Ascari's first turn right. He's actually made a bit of a meal of it, which really compromises the rest of the run. And then heading down the long straight now down towards Parabolica, the final turn. You want to be able to use the momentum here. So most people tend to go in out wide, cut in, and then use the momentum of the corner to flow out back to the outside of the track, just like this, and then down the straight. Won't activate the areas till after the line. Does a 23.6 on that lap, which is not an improvement from his previous time. So currently, here comes Matthew Elliott. He's about to now set a flying lap on his super soft tyres. This could be reasonable. 22 flat, which puts him P12. But we'll do an on virtual lap and see how he approaches the turn. So heading into turn 1. Very smooth. Actually, whoa, that's a very nice line through turns 1 and 2. Curva de Grande, let's see how he approaches that. He's got to be very ginger on the steering input as well as being flat. Now, here comes the tricky corner. Let's see how he approaches it.
Someone's taken out the braking marker board.
Oh, he's done a good job through there. And now into the 2 Lesbos. I mean, oh god, here we go again. The 2 Lesmos. Gets through the first Lesmo alright. The second Lesmo, a little shaky on the acceleration, but actually not bad. Enters the DRS. Comes down towards Ascari. How does he approach Ascari? Oh, there's going to be someone. Oh, I thought there was going to be a moment there with Robin Kreff there. He's a bit slidey coming out of the exit of Ascari, but he's done well. This will be his last run too, unless he intends to try one more go at it. Heading into Parabolica. Yeah, he does the wide approach. Gets on the gas early. He'll get away with that one. He's going to cross the line. 21.4. That puts him P9.
Very nice lap.
And it may not feel like the fastest lap to him, but given the state of who he's up against in this regard, that would be a win in my books. He's done a good job for that one. So, and he ends it in the gravel. Oh, he's made a mistake, and I think he's out of fuel. Yeah, he's out of fuel. So unless anything happens in the next lap or so, Sterling could take pole position. Rudy's taken a huge bite of out of his tyres to try and get a run, so he'll be in trouble in regards to that.
He's not using any battery though, so I think.
Yeah, but well, if he's done his fastest lap on this set of tyres, he's going to be in trouble. And Sterling, although Matt, at the same time, Matt's done the same thing. Someone's just jumped the order. Luke has gone to P4, so it's a Red Bull 3-4 at the moment. Can Sterling improve and get into the 19s? That'll be an interesting telling point for a lot of drivers out there. We haven't seen anyone in the 19s yet. I scratched that as Tyler Beasley goes into the 19s, very dangerously close into the 18s, in fact. And Sterling only marginally improves to a 20 flat, but it's Tyler Beasley that's going to take the pole position. I don't think there's anyone out there on a lap. No, everyone else is pretty much backed out, so Tyler Beasley takes it pole position despite F4 race not actually, it started from second to last. So Tyler won the F4 and the F3 race last weekend at Belgium. Could he make history and do it again here at Italy? He's already done the job in F4. Can he do it in F3? He's certainly shaping up to be a very interesting competitor in the F3 category. He's shaking heads. And so in saying that, as well as anything, so both Renaults are going to start 14th and 16th on the grid. So that's not good for Leonardo. He's just disconnected right before the race starts. So that's pretty much that's him gone. That's actually him gone. So for Ferrari terms, that's P8, and Ryan Connolly will be their only hope for today's race. So a lot of interesting strategy. I wouldn't say actually the interesting. I think F4 had a bit more variety in its overcast conditions. So there's a bit of mist on the track at the moment. So can't wait to see what the tyre strategy was, because everyone in the back,
everyone on the top was on the supers, weren't they?
And then a lot of people at the back were all soft at least soft or maybe some medium. So we'll probably expect to see someone like Yevgeny start on the mediums, given he didn't actually set a lap on his tyres, and of course he was outside the top 10, so that rule still applies that the top 10 have to start on the tyres they qualified on.
Oh,
Because from what I've actually learned is that the short qualifying acts on qualifying 2 for actual full qualifying, so that's how the rule kind of plays out. So interesting point. Now we'll just have a quick check of the tyres. So yeah, so you got P11 of Robin Kreft and Dogo Cruz on the mediums. Yevgeny and Klaas both running the soft, so that could be a contradicting strategy if a safety car comes out about the same time as their pit window. Yeah, we saw it. Well, we did see a pretty interesting crash here on the formation lap in F4 between Ethan Lossings and Tyler Beasley, I think it was. No, it wasn't Tyler Beasley. It was Ethan Lossings and Alfa Romeo Sauber, which was Luke Ringham, as I remember. So 16 cars on the grid. Actually, that's weird. Oh no, it's gone. It does say that Leonardo Martins is in the session, but it doesn't show his car, so it's pretty much one of those gigs anyway. So he'll be registered in, but he won't be deemed a starter. I've never really understood the Codemasters theory behind that, but I'm not going to go into a second rant in 2 races, well, 2 sessions. So Tyler's actually bolted from the rest of the field, which probably isn't the greatest of things to do with how the tyres work. I mean, I don't think the tyre thing actually works. That if you stand on the grid too long, your tyres cool down too much. I don't know if that's 100% accurate, but if it is, then he's put himself in a pretty bad position by doing it. Yevgeny's disqualified himself in the session. Hard to say where, but he is the last car, but anyway.
Yeah, him and Klaus were right at the back.
So
Klaus is the last guy.
We had a reasonably clean first turn. We had a reasonably clean first turn in F4. A few little biffs and barges, but no major incidences. Can we get a repeat today?
Here we go.
And the cars build up. Actually, I've got a better shot here of the lights. It's lights out, away we go for the Grand Prix of F3 Italy. Good start by Tyler Beasley. Rudy's going to try and attack Sterling from the outside. We'll just hang back and see. Oh, there's a bit of contact there with James and Mayo. No, everyone seems to have gotten through. Actually, everyone's gone through really cleanly through turn 1. But of course, here's where a few incidences take place. It's a McLaren 1-2 with Rudy up to P2. And Sterling, oh here we go, we've got a few moves here. Matthew Elliott, Ryan Connolly, oh one of the Mercs has been...
Oh, one of the Mercs is pointing sideways.
And there's a huge crash in the background. Robin's been caught. And Klaus was caught in that as well. I think everyone's managed to survive that. Although Robin will be kind of ruining his luck as Yevgeny has actually already gotten past Matthew Elliott, so that's... And here we go, Ashley Lawrence is going to size up and move. A bit of contact there between the two as they do. No, I don't want to be catching up too many. So everyone gets through cleanly. Oh, is there anything going on up front? No, looks like... Oh, we got a spinning Alfa Romeo Sauber. Dogo's in the fence out of the end of Ascari. 3-second time penalty for Nicholas Adams for corner cutting. And he's also gone off at Parabolica. Look, he looks like he's missed the break. And Klaas has gone...
The inside. Oh no, he's going to lose the position here on Luca. He's not careful. He's got the better drive out of turn 1. Turn 2, sorry. So Luca's... Right, here we go. We've got a 3-way battle here for four-way battle here. for
Oh, here
P2.
comes Ethan Lossings down the inside. He's going to try. He's got to be careful because remember, these guys are the racing for point. Oh, Rudy makes a mistake heading towards the first list mode. This is going to bunch the field up quite intensely. And Tyler's cleared out. And I wouldn't discount Jaden out of that for too much longer too, because so actually Yevgeny's lost a position to.
Again.
Oh, he's got the job done too. It looks like. But
Yeah,
Yevgeny and Luca's gotten past Rudy.
Rudy's losing a couple of spots here.
Oh, that was a bit hairy.
He's gone back inside.
There was a bit of a desync. Well, I don't know if it was desync, but I think
made the move still.
I think Luca
Bullock's
cut.
just running away with this.
Yeah, Luca cut Rudy off a little bit, and it looked like it was going to be one of those side pod incidences. Now, actually, Lawrence has managed to get past Yevgeny in this spot, and Matthew Elliott's actually got a watching brief of this. So if these two have an off, we've got a sector 1 incident. Ethan Lossings has had a spin at turn 2. Let's just keep this battle watching here as Yevgeny tries to go up the inside. That was a very interesting. It's hard to say, but
He's got the better drive by the look of it.
for some reason Matt just lost a huge amount of ground, and I don't really see how he managed to do it. It's not like, oh, here we go, Ashley down the inside at the chicane. Oh, you knew he was not going to make it, so he's, but Yef in the gravel again. So, and now Ashley's off, and Tyler's already got a 3-second time penalty. Oh, he's off again.
He's off again.
It's heating up here, so Ryan Connolly is up to P6 in the Ferrari, so looking to try and get some ground up. And
so this battle for second's thinned out. We've lost 2 of the other competitors, so now it's only Rudy and Sterling. And Rudy's losing a bit of time. He's 8 tenths off of Sterling now, so.
And Sterling's going immensely defensive down the main straight, trying to stop the slipstream from taking effect, but it doesn't matter in that regard. We're just waiting to see.
He wasn't close enough for a dive, so wouldn't have mattered staying on the racing line. But
and actually, Ashley's lost a place to Matthew.
Ashley's lost his place to Matthew.
So
Ashley's having a bit of an up-down sort of race, isn't he?
He's not being. And Yevgeny's made a mistake at turn 1. He's lost another 2 positions, so Yevgeny can't really catch a break today at the moment. He seems to be, once he gets a position, he just immediately loses it. So now Matt's job is quite clear. It's to try and catch James well, actually, James is not. So if you take the next 2 positions out, Matt is currently sitting in position 7.
P7.
I'm just checking it. Yeah, so he's currently running P7. Yevgeny currently in P9, so there'll be a slight point boost for Matt in this regard. So, but the one thing Matt will be trying to hope for is that Ashley doesn't make Yevgeny's job easy by letting him through. Yeah. So, I mean, don't take him out, but don't make the job easy. So,
no, really make him work for that spot.
So, speaking of change of position, Ethan Lossing's just now made a move on Ryan, then that's job split.
Oh, did they make a move, did they? I thought Ryan was catch. Oh no, yeah.
No, Ryan's. But he's going to go for a move, is he? No. Oh, but someone's gone off. It's Luca, so Luca's made a mistake. And he's going to just rejoin next to James. Now, I think, yeah, Yevgeny's now right on the back of Ashley again, so he'll be, he's losing, he seems to be getting really taily off acceleration, so that's a very, what's going on here? So James is now under attack from Luca, or is Luca under attack from James?
I think, yeah, James is under, was trying to move on the inside, so Luca's just sort of pushed in, but nothing in it.
And there's another battle here between Ethan Lossing and Jaden Felter, so everyone's seems to be got quite a few battles going on, which is quite good. Dogo has I'm a bit disappointed by Dogo at the moment. His pace at the start of his career was lightning bolt, and then all of a sudden he's just now fallen into obscurity, and I'm hoping that it's just a slump in form and that he picks it back up and gets back to the front for Singapore, because he's a wily character, Dogo, and I like to see him up the front, so hopefully that carries on. Now Ethan's just made a move. Yeah, Jaden Felter. So Ethan Lossing is showing some really good pace in there. Ooh, Jaden gives him a bit of a love tap up the arse, saying, "Why are you running my car number?" And a 5-second stop-go penalty for Luca for speeding in pit or corner cutting, actually. So that's a
corner cutting. Yeah.
And actually, as Yevgeny had another off. No, I think Ashley must have had a go at Yevgeny and completely made a meal of it. But yeah, so that's kind of given Yevgeny a reprieve, and that's definitely given Matt a reprieve as he tries to chase down James. Well, tries to chase down James. Sector 2, Sector 3. That's probably someone more towards the back. It's Class. So Class is having a pretty torrid race today. He's, I think,
pretty average race.
I think he's already dropped a lap. Yeah, he actually has definitely dropped a lap, and Dogo is actually under threat from losing a lap also. So. It's happening all around. So
I didn't. Well, Robin must have got wing damage from that first lap incident, because
I would have been surprised if he didn't. I would have been very surprised if he hadn't. That was a very nasty crash, and he'll be counting his stars that he's still in the race.
Jaden and Luke are in the pit, so we got the first couple of blinky.
Yeah, and that's the thing, and that's probably the differencing, and that's the differencing situation between Yevgeny and Matt is the tyres.
12-second penalty. He's going on to the mediums.
And it's a very big tall order. That's a very tall order to take the mediums to. So the gap between Yevgeny and Matt sits at 5.4 seconds. Matt to James is 4.5 seconds, so it's kind of balancing, but of course Yevgeny has got the knowledge of having... Well, the tyre difference isn't that much, but you will expect to see Matt in relatively soon. So currently waiting to see what the other drivers do. We've got to change the position between Dogo and Class, so I don't know what that to go on with, but both Alfa Romeos having a pretty bad day at the office. Red Bull will be kind of having the same thing. Luca will be just having a nightmare run given that, and there's a move. No, actually Rudy's now in.
Rudy's in the pits.
So that's he's running the same. This is interesting. He's running the same strategy he ran in F4.
Well, you can technically do it. All the top YouTubers do it, but they stretch out those seasons a bit longer.
Yeah, but he's running a strategy he ran in F4, and that was to go on the softs and then have to stop again for the supers near the end of the race. So he's doing a two-stop. It was slightly effective in the fact that he had pace to do it, but in F3 it's a bit more.
Work out for Matthew if he can hold.
Yeah, if Yevgeny
up a bit. Yevgeny, sorry.
Yeah, so it looks like he's managed to hold the ground there, and as soon as Rudy's tyres get up to temp, which will be, Yevgeny would have wanted to have gotten past Rudy here and now, because now once his tyres come up to temp, Rudy will start to pull away. And even on DRS, we'll just have a look and see what kind of gains we'll have. We're right on board with Yevgeny just to see how it works. He's making steady gains, but not enough to be a warrantable issue to Rudy. Coming through Ascari. Very wide in line. Yeah, I was just saying that. And now, let's see how I want to see how he tackles Parabolica, because he didn't do very much in qualifying. Oh, he takes a shallow line.
So this will bump Matthew up to P4.
So here comes the DRS. Rudy goes defensive to try and break the slipstream, but Yevgeny has lost so much ground that the DRS has no actual impact at all.
No. So Jamie's put the mediums on. Jaden's jumped him. So
And Luca might jump him as well. Yep, Luca gets him.
So this is an interesting battlefield here.
8 seconds separate Matthew from Ryan Connolly. Ryan's steadily making ground. It's got instant sector 2.
There is a car at Lesmo's 2.
Oh, it's Yevgeny! Oh no, it's not. It's his teammate. Ooh.
Oh, don't scare me like that.
It just oh no, I scared myself. It just happened that when I moved to Yevgeny, it was showing his car. It just showed a Renault in the fence.
Yeah.
It was just ironically his teammate in the fence. In the
Oh, bullets in the pits. Bullets in and out of the pit. He's put the mediums on.
Will he come out? No, Ryan's in. Will Matthew follow? Matthew is gonna follow. So that will put Yevgeny ahead, but Yevgeny will have to stop not too far from this window. So will Matt jump onto the mediums? Ryan's on the mediums.
I think he can comfortably get to the softs.
It does. Yep. So Matt on the mediums, but the screen shows the super soft, so that's funny. Oh, Ryan could just lose a spot here. He does. So Ryan just loses out to Jaden Felter in the stop there, and Luca has managed to. Matthew's gonna. Oh, Luca. James almost had a good go there, but it looks like. I think Luca was always in a position.
Ryan's around at turn.
Oh, he's done a Vettel.
That was all by himself though.
But it doesn't.
A little bit of a helping hand.
Yeah, and James now giving Matt a real big hurry along. Don't want to be. James won't want to be doing anything that puts him under the spotlight, because of course Matt is the championship points leader in F3, and James is just an invitational. So Matt, it comes down to a little bit of what Matt does as well. So if Matt will know that James not in this for anything more than sheep stations, and actually very rightly so, pulls out of lets him go. So, and he'll let James catch the next few people. So Ryan is now just within DRS range of.
Hopefully Matthew can stay with him and let James pull him through. As Ryan's.
Another sector 2 incident. I wonder if that's. It's class again, same corner. That Lesmo corner seems to be really catching class out quite a fair bit, and there is somebody coming around that corner. You want to be careful. I think it's Pete.
Ryan's completely missed his braking point in straight line to turn 1 and 2.
And class has done the dirty on retiring on track. This could get very ugly very fast. Nobody's collected him. No, it doesn't look like anyone's collected him, so that's good news. But we don't really appreciate that kind of thing on the track. You don't retire. If you're going to retire, you retire on the circuit in the pits. Sterling's in running 11 laps on the super soft tyre. That is incredible.
He'll go on to the softs. He'll have the best tyres of everyone.
And he should get those to the end. He will lose the spot to Tyler, but he'll have the pace to utilise that.
Yeah. We'll just wait for this. Says Rudy. Oh, as he goes. Oh, excuse me, as Ryan actually straight lines turns 1 and 2. No, not Ryan, sorry, Sterling, so that hasn't helped his outlap.
And Yevgeny is now up to P4, but again, we'll expect to see him
in. Got a pit though, so
he'll be in relatively soon, going by.
Jaden gets a 3-second time penalty.
So the effective order is pretty much the top 4, minus Ethan Lossing, so that puts Jaden Felter to P5, Luca to P6, Ryan to P7, Matthew Elliott to P8, Robin Kreft P9, and then Ashley Lawrence in P10.
10.
But we've still got to see where Yevgeny settles in. There's no more battles really developing. Everyone's now within at least 2 seconds of one another.
Yeah.
Matthew Elliott hasn't really been able to do what you said and get pulled along the right. I mean, he's not dropping massively, but he's not really following in, but he's there. He'll be there in case something happens in the front. Sector 3 incident, that would be... Oh no, that's Dogo. So Dogo's had a big off at at the last end of Ascari, and
you got no front wing.
He'll be just dreading today. He'll be dreading today. He'll be so upset with himself. And so Yevgeny stays out for another lap. He must be trying to push to a super soft run, but I don't know. It's a bit of a tall order, I think, to try and...
Like 16 in the softs.
That's pretty tricky to do for. Is that Dogo again? No, it's someone else.
No, he's in the pits.
No one's in Sector 3, so... Well, no one's in Sector 3 as of yet. Tyler Beasley's now just gotten through to Sector 3, so it must have been just a normal glitch, so... Yeah, lap 16 would be the idealistic pit window to come in, but he's getting gained on by Ethan Lossings by quite a rapid margin, so I wouldn't be I'd be very skeptical on pushing this out for too much longer if you're starting to drop time quite proficiently.
Yeah, but Ethan's not within the championship standings. He's...
Yeah, but at at the same time,
everyone else is catching him as well, but
that's an incentivized thing for Ethan. He's not in the championship battle. He's not in the championship at all. He's got nothing to lose. So, whereas Yevgeny is fighting for a championship here, so he's going to be a lot more compliant to try and stay out of certain battles, especially battles with people that could ultimately ruin his championship. So, if he gets attacked by Ethan, chances are you'd expect to see Yevgeny back off and let him through like Matthew did with James, who's actually starting to catch Ryan Connolly quite impressively. And Matt's still not too far back, so it has the ability to take advantage of the situation if need be. Sector 3 incident again, nothing I can see. Oh no, it's Dogo. Dogo again at Ascari.
Yeah, Dogo. So he's having a horrible race today.
I think horrible might be a bit of an exaggeration, a little bit maybe, but either which way it's not great, so we're just waiting to see. I mean,
know how he feels anyway.
Yeah, it hasn't been the greatest season for either of us to be per se.
No.
But we'll just see.
Sterling's not catching up onto Bullet at all, but he's holding the gap at about 8.5, 9 seconds. So.
Yeah, hang on, we're just gonna hold our breath here for a second. Watch as Ethan Lossings now down the inside of Yevgeny into turn 1. Yevgeny locks the brakes, tries to...
Both wheels.
But doesn't fight it, and that puts Yevgeny down a spot, but still retains that effective P4 standing at the moment. Blue flags. Actually, Matthew's managed to get some ground on... Oh, we got... Oh no, that's Dogo, I think, going through the first... Yeah, it is too. We've got Matthew starting to actually get some ground on James at the moment. Not much. I don't know whether that's James making a mistake or Matt starting to actually get the feel of the...
second.
Although in saying that, there is a car behind... Oh no, that's Dogo trying to get us to notice him.
Whether or not Diogo's got in the way of James somewhere and slowed him down for a bit, because he seems to be pulling away now from Matthew.
Yeah, it seems to be reactive
again. So yeah.
So
Yevgeny's just outside of DRS range.
He's coming in. He's coming in. So he's managed to pull it out to 15 laps. So I would be expecting to see a super soft change. Now, just looking at the leader, this should put him behind. It is a super soft. It should put him behind Matthew Elliott.
Change as well.
It is. Oh, it is too. He must have had contact somewhere. So that's actually going to cost him position to Matthew Elliott.
It's going to cost him a lot of time.
So Yevgeny now exits the pits. I would have thought, I was going to say he was going to lose a spot to Robin Kreff, but Robin is now just come in, so that's kind of saved Yevgeny a little bit of work, but he still does have Dogo in between him and Matthew Elliott, and an 8-second gap, but the tyre difference is actually 6 laps. 6 laps will be where the super softs die, so I think Yevgeny will kind of look at his strategy and think, maybe at first what I've done is...
But as you say, those supers will be screaming by the end of that stint. By the time he catches Matthew, the mediums might just be coming to their full life potential as such. You know, when they really switch on and, you know, 12 laps on a tyre that doesn't really wear, you'd really know where the limits are for them, so it could be a tasty little battle at the end of the race, so we'll just keep an eye on that.
Yeah, so no other real battle apart from, well, James is actually starting to apply pressure now to Ryan Connolly, as Dogo is actually now trying to he's actually made a move on Matthew Elliott that doesn't really do anything more than give Dogo a chance to try and get his lap back, but I don't think it bears any... It looks like it hasn't really bared any impact to... Well, actually, it has bared quite a big impact on things, because Yevgeny's dropped the gap to 5 seconds in a couple of laps.
In 1 lap.
But Matt can at least take some knowledge away that it's not going to be a major points haul.
No.
So even if Yevgeny gets past him, you're looking at 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th for Yevgeny, 8th for Matt. So it's a couple of points different. So Matt, who originally was under the impression that he'd be leaving today 2nd in the championship, might find, unless we don't want to pull the mocker. And James.
Jamie's out.
Yes. And there's the wheel. Oh, the wheel could... Oh, this could get ugly. Oh, yeah, ghosting's off. If ghosting was on, if ghosting was off, Yevgeny would have just been destroyed by that wheel. That has happened to people before. It's actually happened to me as Dogo does the fastest lap of the race. It's happened to me in a sprint mode. It's not one of my finer moments. It was a sprint mode where last man standing, and I took Sebastian Spicer out. And as I tried to get away to take the race win, his wheel lodged, his stray wheel lodged underneath my car and flung me into the fence.
As Lucas caught up to the back of Jaden, Jaden's very wide into Lesmo's one. So he's a good little battle here between the Force India and the Red Bull. Mercedes versus Renault. As in their power supplies anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's not their actual cars. Jaden's bottled a Scar in now, they're side by side. Coming into Parabolica, who's got Lucas just pulled out of it a little bit, let him go. It's a bit of a smart move, because now we get slipstream DRS down the main straight. They're on the exact same tyre compound, exact same tyre life, so this is an outright fight for the P4.
And that's a bit of a...
very defensive, that's a bit of a... No, he's turned him like... Oh, it's squeezy.
Got a bit of one back. Oh, they're both struggling to get on traction. But yeah, that was a bit dirty there from Jaden to squeeze Luca into the grass like that. And Luca did fight back. They're gonna He's getting a bit punchy, which
Side by side.
he's
Letting Ryan catch up.
Luca is getting a bit punchy, which is probably an indication.
Blaze has just dropped another position. Finney's caught right under the back of Matthew. So we've got a couple of battles here now, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on to your seats the last 7 laps.
And oh, we've got a sector 1 incident. Nothing untoward.
Oh, Rudy's back in the pit.
Yep. So it's like I said, Rudy. This is the strategy Rudy did in F4, and it didn't work from then, and it certainly hasn't worked here. He will hold on to P4, but well, P3, but it's
P3 effectively.
He probably was in a better spot to try and do the mediums like everyone else. Sterling has definitely got the better run, but he hasn't got the he just hasn't got the pace to catch. Whoa!
Here we go again. Lucas.
There's contact there, massive contact there. Both are off, and I thought actually one of them got a penalty for that. Someone's had an off somewhere. Sector 2.
Still looks like
and
Yevgeny's got around Matthew.
Yeah, I think in saying that, I think I saw Yevgeny take to the off the circuit to make that move. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to have a look at it onboard footage, but it doesn't seem to have too much impact. But these two at the moment battling away in positions 5 and 6, which is effectively P4 and 5, could either turn extremely well that, or it's going to turn extremely ugly.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Because it's already been looking quite ferocious. Here we go, through Ascari goes Luca. Jaden tries to lock the brakes, but they're going to go bumping. I think Luca gave that up. Luca gave that up a bit too easy, I think. He had the position, but then he backed off.
At all, because they're both gaining time penalties and losing time to the people behind them, so they really need to just
this is just
get on with their race, stop squabbling.
Yeah. Oh, and Jaden's trying to edge him into the fence. Oh, don't do anything, Luca. You're on shot here. Just make the overtake, make it work. Luca gets a penalty for trying to corner cut. They've escorted each other off.
They're both off.
And Luca's spun.
Ryan's just gonna be praising the gods here because he's got a free penalty, free position. Sorry, Luca's lit up those rear tyres.
And things gained a 5-second stop go for speeding and or cutting the corner. Well, basically an illegal overtake and not giving the spot back. Yeah. So that's going to promote Ryan up to P4. Luca has rage quit. Understandably,
yep.
I would probably not be in the best of moods after that kind of skirmish, and it's probably going to go straight to the Discord chat. And I don't condemn any of the behaviour that we've just seen in any regard, because it was just silly little games. But what I'm probably about to see next is Ryan now goes up the inside at Parabolica, but backs off.
Quickest lap, but Ryan's got a little bit fresher tyres here, so this might be a bit easier for Ryan than what it was for Luca. He's got the run out of Parabolica
and got the job done. Now see, this is the part that kind of, it's like, if you're capable of doing that with one person, why couldn't you just do it with the other? I mean, the other guy was clearly...
Oh, he's gone for a dive. Jaden, why are you doing it? Fene just gets the spot.
He might get 2 at this rate, but... we'll just see how it goes. Yevgeny down the inside. Ryan gives the place up, but yeah that...
He's made that easy for him.
Yeah,
those supers will start to be going off now. So now he's got to keep them all behind.
So, putting it into perspective, it's put Yevgeny up to P4, Matt is P6.
Yeah.
Oh, P7, yeah, so that's
P7,
that's a points gain that Matt would not have wanted to see given where he was. So, although in saying that,
I think Matthew's going to jump Jaden here from time penalties.
Yeah, and there probably will be a few investigations that could lead into some post-race penalties for Jaden Felter, because I do agree from what Luca has said and seeing the vision there from Ryan, as Ryan might protest this point a little bit. We'll just wait and see here. Ryan's got the run. Yevgeny goes defensive. Ryan's going to try and... Oh, he's locked up big time. Yevgeny's
gone very deep. Oh.
And a bit of contact there, but that's through sheer nature. They're going to go side by side through...
He's on the outside again. He needs to hold... No, he's just letting go.
It's better to do it like that because you don't want to... you don't want to have contact through this part because it really hurts everything else. So... We keep having set to 3 incidences. Someone's gone off at a Scar Parabolica. It's Dogo again. In fact, Dogo has now just decided to do donuts at the Parabolica. Dogo, you're on TV. You might not want to be caught doing that. I suppose he's had enough, so he's just going to have fun. As long as he doesn't scream himself back onto the track, he'll be fine. But this could cause problems because it does put a yellow flag into that section, which means...
Matthews caught Jaden on track now.
And now let's see what Matt can do here.
Again, a little bit pressure tired. Oh, Diogo. Oh, I thought he was going to come on track then.
This time Matt...
be very close to...
Oh, Yevgeny's gone wide again at turn 1. But, so yeah, back to my point. So yeah, Jaden's been caught in 2 incidences, which in my view, not trying to sound biased or anything like that, but in my view, Jaden has been deemed, to me, was the perpetrator of both incidences. So the one with Ryan was a plain dive bomb that has gone wrong, and then the one with Luca was very much like being overly defensive in a situation where it should have been just let him go and follow him. But Ryan has not actually admitted defeat to this battle yet, and Matt, like you say, is very much in a shot here to have a go at Jaden. In fact, he's going to have a go through Ascari. Jaden doesn't actually put up a fight at all.
No. So maybe Jaden is listening to... Oh, Jaden. Oh, very wide.
It's grabbed the fence. So what can Ryan do here? He's right on the back, and I'm quite surprised by... Although I suppose by now the these tyres will be falling off.
Yeah.
But for Ryan, the mediums will be exactly at their ideal temperature to mount an attack. Now, does Yevgeny go wide again? But he doesn't seem to... He's managing to hold through, which is a bit better than the last time he attempted to try and do. So it's effectively still P4 for Yevgeny, but now it's P6 for Matt. So that still drops the... It only makes it a 4-point gain in Yevgeny's favour. So I can't remember the exact point difference between the two heading into this weekend, but it's still not gonna...
12 points, I think it was, or something. Yeah, pretty sure it was 12.
And if Matt can throw a spanner, if Ryan can throw a spanner in the works here and actually mount an overtake and get it done, although Ryan does have a penalty, I don't know if Yevgeny does or not, but it really does set into motion. Of course, we do have a week break after this weekend for slightly selfish reasons, not mine of course, but for people of AOR. But we do go back to Singapore in the next couple of weekends, which could make or break championships that always has in the past. Excuse me. And now it looks like Ryan's a bit further back this time, so he's lost a bit of ground on this run. And Matt's off the back of these people, well, off the back of these two now. So we'll have a look at the front. We haven't been up the front for a while, so here comes Tyler Beasley now to start the final lap. A 5.2 second gap between himself and Sterling. Now, I have been noticing that Tyler has been earning himself some time penalties, but I don't know whether or not that's been going to be enough to impact his weekend. So he came into the weekend with the notion of already winning F3 and F4 in Belgium. He came to this weekend in the Ferrari for F4 and took victory there, and it could be feasible that he could be potentially taking back-to-back weekend wins for F3 and F4, which goes to show what kind of competitor he is and everything more. In fact, actually, in saying that, the battle between Ryan and Yevgeny is now resumed again, because Yevgeny is now under attack once more. If Ryan gets a good run out of... Yeah, but it still keeps him... He's still within the same... In fact, he's probably made more... He's actually made a bit... He's got more momentum out of it. It would have been because Ryan was on the straight a lot faster. He will, because Yevgeny always goes defensive through here. Oh, a bit of contact. Nose-to-tail contact, because Ryan would have tried to do the over and under, and it doesn't work in that corner very well. As Tyler Beasley crosses the line, does he take the win? No, Sterling takes the win. So Sterling wins the Italian Grand Prix and denies Tyler Beasley a perfect fortnight. So Ethan Lossings will take P3, but on effectiveness he's not in the running, so the effective P3 will go to Rudy Rando Guerreras. So that's McLaren 2-3. So well done to Ethan.
I'll jump on board here with Ryan on Connolly, try and see what he can do up.
Could he make it? It'd be... If I was Ryan, I'd make one valiant dive here. Just go for it. Just have a go. Is he going to do it? No, he's not.
No, he's not.
Is he banking on Yevgeny to go wide? No. But
he's gone wide himself.
He was probably needing more penalties on Yevgeny's side, but we'll see. As Matthew Elliott...
Some nice racing between the two. You know, it wasn't the cleanest.
And Matt gets Ryan.
Oh, he does too.
So that's P5 for Matt. That's P5 for Matt. So that's 2 points.
Yeah. Yep.
So
2 points.
So what we'll do now is grab our top 3 drivers. And have a chat to them. So who was our second one? That one, and second was Sterling. Where's Sterling? Where is Sterling there? Our drivers come in so we can have a chat with them. Okay, so we got Rudy P3. You've played the same I have to say, I'm a bit surprised. You played the same strategy that you did in F4, which didn't quite play out in that race. So I'm a bit surprised to see you do it again, but it has managed to hold you down the effective P3 finish. So congratulations, you and McLaren must be thrilled with that. Fair enough, it must be pretty late over there, so that probably explains the whispering. We'll leave you to it. Congratulations, we'll see you again in Singapore in a couple of weeks' time. Now, I think we just got our race winner in here. We do. Sterling West, well done, race win. Pole position, well, second place initially on the grid, so pole position. Did you expect to think that you were going to be coming here as the race winner?
I thought I had the race pace. I did not expect that quality time out of Bullet, but I knew I had the race pace. I got held up in the beginning, battling for P2 and P3, and I just, no penalties, keep it clean, and it paid off in the end.
It's a great result for you, and a somewhat, in a way, you helped deny a perfect 2 weekends for Tyler in winning both F3 and F4 in both weekends. So you've managed to deny him that, and it looked like he had pretty relatively good pace. It was a pretty hectic race this weekend for both categories, so it's good to see some integrity happening, and good to see another race win for you, and we'll see you in Singapore.
Absolutely, can't wait.
So, Mark, you got anything you want to add before we close off?
No, that was a very good race. I'm surprised we didn't see a safety car. I was expecting a bit more carnage in turns 1, 2 and 3, 4 in the opening lap. Oh, excuse me, but no, we didn't see it. So congratulations to our podium standards, and we'll see you all for Singapore in a couple of weeks.
And don't forget also to tune in tomorrow at 8 a.m. GMT plus 12 for the F1 broadcast hosted by myself and Matthew Elliott, as well as at the F2 at 11 o'clock GMT plus 12 with Mackenzie Stewart and probably Guy Tasker, whoever else you can find. As for F3 and F4 next weekend, we take a break for AOR reasons apparently, so everyone gets a week off, and we go back to racing the week after at Singapore, which is meh, that kind of thing. Brett Keenan, Mark Bradby signing out from Italy, and we'll see you again come Singapore. And